My name is Alicia and the following is a true story that happened to me. It changed my life forever and I am still not able to recover from it. I got married in the year 2002, years after we had welcomed our daughter into this world. I belonged to an upper middle class family and my in-laws had a very successful business as well. Our life was nothing short of a perfect story you hear or read about. Taking vacations 4 to 5 times a year was not out of the norm for us. I used to live with my husband, my parents-in-law, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law who treated me like their sister. I had the best first few years of my married life living in that family. Then came the year 2008. My mother-in-law started looking for a girl for her youngest son. My brother-in-law. During that time we had a family who moved into our neighborhood. They had a daughter around the same age as my brother-in-law. My mother-in-law, who I will refer to as Sarah, once invited that new family over for dinner. And during dinner she mentioned that she is looking to get her youngest son married. I don't know why, but the neighbor's daughter, who I will refer to Linda from now onwards, started bringing snacks and various dishes over to our home almost every day ever since that night. Just a few weeks after, Sarah expressed liking towards Linda and how she wanted her youngest son to get married to Linda. We were shocked and surprised. Because at that point, we had hardly known Linda. Since my mother was adamant and persistent on this marriage, eventually we all gave in and took the proposal to Linda's home the next weekend. I don't remember this part in very detail, but from what I remember, Linda's family not only accepted the proposal but they wanted the wedding date to be within 2 weeks. Me and my in-laws were very shocked at the hastiness of Linda's family. However, ended up agreeing with the wedding date. I remember very clearly this part. That while leaving their home that night, Linda's mother whispered to Sarah, "I will make sure that I train Linda in such a way that you forget Alicia and only remember one name. Linda." At that time I didn't give it much thought. But now that I look back, it was a sinister thought and a plan that was well executed. Soon after the wedding and Linda moving into our home, our family dynamics started changing slowly. My parents-in-law, who never used to get mad at anything, started getting mad. My husband, who had treated me like a princess all these years of our wedding, started changing, and got upset at me over absolutely nothing. We started getting distant from each other. Linda started acting very weird around the house. I remember one day, after cooking a meal, I went to my room and saw my bedsheet changed. I am very particular about my bed and my belongings. Upon asking Linda, she told me that she thought she would surprise me with a new bedsheet that she bought for me. I got really upset and took off the bedsheet and gave it back to her. I told her clearly that I don't like anyone entering my room without my permission. And certainly not making any changes in my bedroom. Fast forward a few weeks when my immediate family, so myself, my husband and our daughter, took a trip to a northern city in our province. The day we came back home during dinner, Linda brought a dessert that she claimed she made specially for me since I was gone for so many days. I didn't give it any thought and ate the dessert. That night I started feeling this sharp pain in stomach. Within days I lost over 20 pounds. Tasks such as walking, eating and drinking became so difficult. I was unable to move from my bed. It felt like I was a 100-year-old. Fast forward a few weeks when me, my husband, and our daughter took a trip to a northern city in our province. The day we came back home during dinner, Linda brought a dessert that she claimed she made specially for me since I was gone for so many days. I didn't give it any thought and ate the dessert. That night I started feeling this sharp pain in stomach. Within days I lost over 20 pounds. Tasks such as walking, eating and drinking became so difficult. I was unable to move from my bed. It felt like I was a 100-year-old. The pain in my stomach would not go away. There wasn't a doctor or a hospital that I did not visit during this time. All the tests and scans completed came back normal. All the doctors and specialists were unable to diagnose the root cause. My husband started ignoring me. I was unable to take care of my daughter. I had to send my daughter to my parents' home so they could help her get ready for school every morning and take care of her while I battled my sickness. I don't know why, but after sunset and before sunrise I used to feel the worst. Almost like I became someone else during those hours. Even now, after all these years, when I think back about those nights, it gives me nightmares. During the evenings and all through the night I used to get so scared. I started hallucinating. I started getting sleep paralysis. In a state when I am neither awake or asleep, I used to hear voices. I used to be so afraid of everything. Every morning around 5 a.m. I would wake up to someone breathing next to my ears. And when I would look around, there would be no one in my room. My father was very religious. So one day I went to my parents' home where my dad had called someone over from a mosque who started an exorcism. During the exorcism it felt like my body was burning from inside. The person told my parents that someone had done black magic on your daughter. After the exorcism it felt so light. It felt like a big weight had been lifted off my chest. But that feeling did not last long. Because when I went back to my husband's home, I immediately started feeling sick again. I told my husband about what the priest said about the black magic, but he did not believe me. Going to the priest became a regular event for me. I used to feel better when I was outside of the home, but upon returning home, the sickness used to take over my body. A few months after all this, my husband was offered a better paying job for which he had to move to another city. He decided to take me and my daughter along. Those few months that we lived alone were some of the best times of my life. I became the old me. My husband and I became closer. Our fights, arguments became non-existent. It felt like I went back to the years when I got married to my husband. Fast forward a few more months, Linda and her husband came over to our home, as they were visiting our city for sightseeing or something. Within 24 hours of Linda and her husband leaving our home, me and my husband got into one of the biggest fights of our relationship. And that too without any valid reason. It's like he became a different person. Within a week of this incident, my husband divorced me and kept full custody of my child. Looking back, it seems like it was someone else or something else that took over my husband's body and mind. It was my husband and not my husband at the same time. After that, I moved and started living by myself. My family tried to make me move in with them, but I couldn't. I just couldn't go. Since then I have been living by myself. I tried to get custody of my daughter, but I was considered a danger to my own daughter. I have thought about ending my life many times as I have nothing to lose or gain at this point. I guess I will end this post by saying, black magic is very real. Before this happened to me, I used to think otherwise. But believe me, I went through it. And it ruined my life. It took everything away from me. And for those still wondering, yes, it was Linda and her mother who did the evil black magic on me. Update. For everyone asking what happened to Linda. Last I heard she had passed away suddenly in her sleep a few years back. So I suppose no one is safe from this black magic. Because she did not gain anything from all this either. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Please subscribe and click the bell icon to get notification for all future narrations.